You'll remember back from the movie where we learned to write to files that I talked about the idea of the file pointer, or it's like a cursor in a word processor that we can type and then it's cursor sitting there waiting for us to type some more. Well, like a cursor in our word processor, we also have the ability to move that pointer around inside the file to write to different places within the file. And that's what we're going to see how to do in this movie. So let's open up a new file in TextMate, and I'll go ahead and save it as file pointer.php. And the first thing we'll need to do is the same kind of create file and write to a file that we've done before. Nothing really that special there. So in order to find out where our pointer is right now after we've done this writing, we can use ftell. And we'll pass in the handle again, and that will return the position. So I'll just call it POS. That's the position of our cursor or our pointer after having typed the 789 there. So now we can use that as a reference for moving around. And we can do that with fseek. Now we're not doing a search. What we're telling it is move to this new location, seek this new location for us. So handle, and then we also need to tell it what position it's going to go to. So let's say POS, and let's just say -6. So it'll take the current position -6, so it'll move back 6 characters. And once we do that, then we can write something else. I'll just put in ABCDEF. It's so common that we want to go back to the beginning of the file. We also have rewind available to us, and just pass in the handle and it will rewind back to the beginning of the file. And let's just put in something else here, XYZ. So let's go ahead and just try this and see what happens. So what we're doing is we're writing a little bit to the file, finding out the cursor position, moving back 6 characters, typing something else, going back to the beginning of the file and putting in something else, and then closing the file. So let's try it. Let's go back to Firefox, and you'll remember that this is going to actually create the file for us. We deleted it in the last movie, but it will create a new file called filetest.txt. And if we open it up, look what we get. We did get the moved around text, but notice that it overwrote what was there. So just to be very clear, this has nothing to do with what mode we put it in. It's not because we're in W mode or if we had done X or A or anything like that. This is the behavior. When we move around the pointer, that cursor will over type. So if we want to capture what was there, we have to first read that data in, hold it in a variable, and then re-output it at the end. So if we really wanted to put XYZ at the beginning and not destroy what was there, then we have to capture it, put this in, and then re-output what was there before. So that's the first thing that I want to caution you about. So beware, it will over type. Okay, so that will remind us about that. The second thing that I want to point out to you is that those modes do matter a little bit, because the A and the A+ modes, the append modes, will not let us move the pointer. They put it at the end of the file and they force it to stay at the end of the file. They force us to append. The R and the W's are the ones that allow us to move around and read and write from different places. So if we want to be able to append, but then we might also want to jump back to the beginning, we need to use something like R+ as one of our options. And then we can go to the end of the file, write something, jump back to the beginning, and write something else. So those are just the 2 things that you need to be careful of. But with that, ftell, fseek, and rewind, you'll be able to move around to different points in your file and write data. Now typically we're only going to want to write it either at the beginning or at the end, or just write the whole file. But at least now you know how to move that pointer around and the way the pointer works. In the next movie, we'll take a look at how we can read back data that was previously written to a file.